Transition, matrices, and similarity. The matrix for a linear transformation. Before we get started in this lesson, I want to tie back into an example that we just finished in our last video. So if you haven't watched that, maybe go back and watch that. What we have is we started with a vector v, which was 3, 1. And we went from v with respect to b prime and turned that into the vector 2, 1, which we called the vector v with respect to b. Now, we did not use a matrix for that. We did a linear combination, but we are going to be working towards coming up with that matrix, transition matrix. Then we took 2, 1, and we multiplied it by a to get to t of v with respect to b, which was 5, 2. At the end, we said, let's ensure that 5, 2 does in fact end up back at 7, 2, again, through a linear combination, but that is going to end up being the inverse of the transition matrix from b prime to b. So it's going to be the transition matrix from b to b prime, and that will take 5, 2 and transition it into the basis b prime to get 7, 2. Now that's all well and good, but we also said, hey, at the beginning, let's just take 3, 1 multiplied by a prime and get to 7, 2 without doing all of that work. So the reason that we did all that work is we don't always have a prime. But what this display tells us is that I can, in fact, compute a prime if I know P inverse. Well, I know P inverse if I know P because I know how to find the inverse of a matrix. So if I take P inverse times A times P, that will in fact give me not A inverse, but A prime. So that is what we're going to be working on in this lesson and moving forward into chapter 7 with eigenvalues and eigenvectors. For my first example, this one's going to be a little bit easier than the next one, simply because we know that we're going from the standard base to a non-standard base. So when we have two non-standard bases, it makes it a little bit harder. But for this one, we're going to start with the standard matrix for t. So again, that's just from our linear transformation. So that would be 1, negative 2 for the first line, and then 4x is 0, y is for the second line. So a is 1, negative 2, 4, 0. Now this one we already know P, so we don't have to find the transition matrix. We can just use B as our P, which is negative 2, 1, negative 1, 1. And now we're going to find P inverse. So P inverse is negative 2 times 1, or negative 2, minus negative 1, so plus 1, that gives me negative 1 for my determinant. So it's 1 divided by negative 1. Remember, we're going to switch the location of the first diagonal and the signs of the second diagonal, and that gives me P inverse. And now I'm simply going to multiply P inverse AP in that order, and I end up with 12, 7, negative 20, negative 11. We're going to do the exact same thing, but this time, as you can see, we have two non-standard bases. So we have base B, which is not standard, and base B prime. So the steps will pretty much be the same, but I'll show you kind of where to watch out. So first thing is they have given us B prime, and instead of giving us the linear transformation, they gave us A, but we know that this is the linear transformation xy or x1, x2, given by negative 2x plus 7y and negative 3x plus 7y. Either way is fine. So what they did is basically took a step away. We don't need to find A because it's given for us. Now we're going to set up the change of basis matrix just as we did before. The difference here is last time we did this, just as before, we're going to put B here, so that was this B basis, and this is B prime, just as we did before. But when we did this before, because we were dealing with the standard base, this side was the identity previously, we called this P. That's not going to be the case here. So when you have a non-standard base, you have to do a little bit of extra work to find P inverse. This step is the same. I'm going to end up with the identity matrix on this side augmented with, in this case, P. So this gives me matrix P, and now I can find the inverse just the way that I normally would find an inverse. 3 times -1 is -3 minus -4. That gives me a determinant of 1, so it has an inverse. So 1 divided by 1, I change the location of the first diagonal and the sign of the second diagonal, and that gives me P inverse. From here, it's the same. So we had to do one extra step, which is to find the inverse manually instead of in the same step as step 1. So to find A prime, I'm going to take P inverse times A times P. So that's P inverse times A times P, and I get 2, -1, 1, 3. One last example before we move on. We can see in this case we've got a transition matrix. We have a non-standard base B prime, but the first base is just the standard base. So if it doesn't give us a base B, we can assume the standard base. So this is going to be a pretty easy example. So press pause, try this question. When you're ready, press play to see how you did. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at our transition matrix to write A. So my first row would be 2x and 2x1 and -2x2, so 2, -2, and then -1, 3 for my second row, and that is A. We are going to use the column vectors for B prime as P, so we don't have to do any computation there. We're just going to drop those right in as column vectors, and we're going to compute P inverse. So that's 1 minus 0 is 1, and then change the location of the first diagonal and the sign of the second diagonal, leaving me with P inverse. Then I'm simply going to multiply P inverse AP to find the transition matrix of 3, -2, -1, 2. Similar matrices. Similar matrices are two square matrices A and A prime, such that when there is exists an invertible matrix P such that A prime is equal to P inverse AP. Now, we've been dealing with A inverse is equal to P inverse, A prime is equal to P inverse AP. What we haven't talked about is the fact that those are similar. Similar means that they're going to have a lot of the same properties, and that's going to be important to us as we're moving forward talking about eigenvalues and eigenvectors in Chapter 7. Because what we're going to do is we're going to try to come up with a diagonal matrix that is similar to our matrix, because that's going to make our work a lot easier. So for the remainder of this video, we're going to be given a non-standard base to use, and magically it's going to result in a diagonal matrix. And when we begin Chapter 7, we'll talk about how do we come up with those bases ourselves. Before we continue, just a couple of properties. A is going to always be similar to itself, so a matrix A is always similar to itself. That's like the reflexive property. If A is similar to B, B is similar to A, that is the commutative property. And if A is similar to B and B similar to C, then A is similar to C, that's the transitive property. Let's take a look at our first example. Here we have we're finding the matrix A prime, which is similar to A, and we're given the linear transformation, x plus y and -2x plus 4y, given P. So we're already given P. We can find A, the standard matrix for T, just as we have been doing. So that would be 1, 1, -2, 4. That would be A. We're given P is equal to 1, 1, 1, 2. We're going to find P inverse. P inverse, I can just use the normal inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. So 2 minus 1 gives me a determinant of 1, so it's invertible. So it's going to be 1 divided by 1. I'm going to change the location of 1 and 2. So I'm going to swap those locations and change the sign of 1 and 1 to -1, -1. And that gives me P inverse. And then I'm going to find A prime, which is P inverse AP. So P inverse times A times P. And of course, just use technology to do the math. And I end up with 2003. And again, notice that this is a diagonal matrix. For our last example, we're going to use a 3 by 3 matrix. So we're given matrix A. We're given the basis B prime is 1, 1, 0, 1, -1, 0, 0, 0, -2. We're going to begin by finding P, and P is just using that non-standard basis. So 1, 1, 0, 1, -1, 0, and 0, 0, -2. P inverse, I'm going to utilize technology to find P inverse, which is 1/2, 0, 1/2, -1/2, 0, and 0, 0, 1. And I'm going to multiply P inverse AP to get A prime, which again gives me a diagonal matrix for -2, -2 in the diagonal. So 4, 0, 0, 0, -2, 0, 0, 0, 2. As I said before, right now they're giving us the basis B prime, and something to look forward to in Chapter 7 is to be able to come up with B prime in order to end up with a diagonal matrix. Up next, Section 6.5, Applications of Linear Transformations.